Repair Credit Quick here with some more tips to help us fix our credit issues. Where does the money go? In today's clip, we give you the top 5 reasons why people live paycheck to paycheck. Number 1, black holes in your account. You go to the bank and the teller says that you're paying X amount of dollars per bank card transaction plus interest. Or maybe you have a subscription to almost every site, app, and streaming site that you could possibly think of. Those $5, $10, or $15 don't seem like much, but when you have a bunch of these, money drains in your account at once, very quickly. Your funds will start to shrink before you even notice. The fix for black holes in your account is to plug them where possible. Get rid of accounts that you're not using, switch to interest-free and tax-free options, and limit certain transactions altogether. Number 2, you have mixed priorities. You want to travel, you want to invest, you want to splurge, you want it all. Unfortunately, doing it all at once is not possible. Not knowing what to focus on in your personal and financial goals often means trying to accomplish them all at once. Not only is this physically, mentally, and emotionally draining, it's also a huge burden on your wallet. The fix, which is harder than it sounds, is you must limit yourself to most important financial goals or necessary lifestyle choices. Don't try to juggle more than you can toss. This brings us to our next point. Number 3, FOMO, or fear of missing out, often leads people to chase goals that they don't really care for, only because they're afraid of future regret. Unfortunately, these psychological triggers often push people to buy things they otherwise would ignore, and that their budget cannot support. As a result, they live for the weekends but have little to fall back on during the week. The fix here is to accept that FOMO is often based on personal biases and lack of one's accomplishments. It's always easier to see what you don't or haven't done as opposed to what you've already done and have under your belt. Of course, overcoming FOMO takes time and effort. Number 4, you're not paying down your debts fast enough. Paying down your debts can feel like an optical illusion. At first glance, making bigger payments towards debts may leave you with less funds left over. But later on, that debt becomes less and less, and eventually you have more cash flow. The minimum payment method is a surefire way to keep your debts lingering. Worst of all, interest compounds on your balance so that you pay far more than you need to. Instead of gradually having more cash to yourself, you stay in a constant loop of paying off a balance that never seems to shrink. So the antidote for this problem is to make more than the minimum payments so that you free yourself from debt faster. The less time you spend in the red, the faster your outstanding balances will decline and the less interest you will pay. Number 5, no emergency fund for days off. A lack of emergency fund isn't a problem until an emergency occurs. Many families who have enjoyed years of financial comfort end up at rock bottom after a difficult circumstance arises. The savings and earnings they keep now go towards recovering from hardship, putting them in debt and leaving them with very little left over. An emergency can be very costly and will set you back financially if you have to rely on your cash flow or savings to pay for certain expenses. This can easily set a family on a cycle of paycheck to paycheck, living for both short and long run. The fix, in this case, is prevention. Start building an emergency fund so that you're not scrambling and overwhelmed if an unforeseen event affects you. And that's our list. If you found this helpful, please click that subscribe button below for more tips, lists, and tricks to get your credit back on track.